Welcome back. Been a little while after being burnt out from all those Voyager Cups and not making Continentals despite making the finals and regionals, but since I want to have a video for each cup this season, here's my weighted Forest Cup. As a refresher, the types for last month were Fire, Water, and Grass, along with Bug and Electric. If you've seen my player card from past videos, you know that Blaziken is my favorite Pokemon, so with it atop the meta, I did invest in Elite TM to give it Legacy Stone Edge. Not sure it was the best investment considering I only ended up doing 2 Forest Cups after all those Voyager Cups, but we'll get to that. First opponent has Kingdra, Swampert, and Vespiquen though, so gonna leave Blaziken on the bench for now. I do like Wormadam pretty much against most of this team. Just really have to worry about the Swampert, so I'm gonna have both Ferrothorn and Mantine in the back. I'm hoping it'll be the Kingdra lead. If it is Swampert, Ferrothorn's a pretty good safe switch to get some grass damage in and an energy lead pretty quick. Although it is the Kingdra, so I'm in good shape here as a steel type. I resist these Dragon Breaths and hit pretty hard with Confusion. And then here, I have a feeling I don't really need to shield an Octazooka since it doesn't do too much damage, but I just wanted to play out the regular one shield win there, and then he makes a great switch with Galvantula to absorb my steel type Iron Head. So I could have stayed in with the health advantage, but I switched to Ferrothorn because I can win this. The Bug Buzz hits pretty hard for neutral damage, while my Power Whip will be resisted. Get the first shield there, though. And then it's going to be a CMP tie with Galvantula having way more attack, so I have to use my second shield already, which is not ideal, but I will really want to win Switch Advantage. In Forest Cup, having such a rock, paper, scissors meta, you really want to win Switch Advantage. And now he'll finish me off with the Kingdra, and I'll come back with my Wormadam, and here you can see why I was saying I didn't really need to shield that Octazooka earlier. It doesn't do too much damage. And then I'm just going for the shield bait again. Even though water types resist steel, Kingdra is kind of frail, so be able to get the shield. And then he'll finish me off. I was kind of surprised he used up all their energy here. But now I'm in good shape with wing attacks, able to farm it down, and then the last Pokemon being Vespiquen. So my flying attacks will be super effective, and I'm actually able to get to another aerial ace before a charge move comes the other way because I had that little bit of energy lead and take the first battle. I stick with the same team, just changing up the lead to Ferrothorn in case they come with Swampert to counter my Wormadam. And then I think I'm okay with Galvantula because my notes say I can win the one shield here. But I didn't realize in the first match it's a Fury Cutter Galvantula, so doing neutral damage against me with the fast move compared to Volt Switch being resisted. And then I correctly shield a Bug Buzz here, would be more neutral damage. And I'm thinking I can win this because I'm just bulkier, even though my moves are all resisted here. But after getting the first shield, they beat me to another charge move, and the Bug Buzz is just enough to finish me off. You can see I had that Power Whip ready, so don't like losing the lead there. But luckily, Wormadam does resist these Fury Cutters, so I'm able to farm down with Confusion pretty easily, and not take too much damage. Now I have loaded energy and can use a super effective Iron Head. A little surprised it came in with Cradily because of that. And then before I can get to another Iron Head, they are going to get a Stone Edge off, which is neutral against me since I'm a Bug Steel type and pretty bulky, so I save my last shield for now. Finally get that next Iron Head and almost take it out. Just barely beat them to the charge move actually. So I do use my last shield there and then farm it down, have some extra energy, and then can just go for another Iron Head against the Vespiquen in the back. And same situation as last time, I can just come in with Mantine and use an aerial ace to finish it off. GG's. Next opponent, instead of Blaziken, has Infernape for fire fast move damage instead, and then a Breloom for the counter damage. And with those two, plus a Wishcash, I feel pretty good about Mantine. For the Ampharos, I have Blaziken and Ferrothorn to counter that. Hopefully they don't lead with it. And it's Infernape, so perfect for me. I can get some damage in with Wing Attack, and then when they switch to Mantine, I go to my Ferrothorn. It's a close matchup, but I should win it. Most importantly, I keep Ferrothorn away from the Infernape in that fire damage. The Power Whip does decent damage since it's neutral, being water flying type. And then the Ice Beam surprised me. I was expecting a Bubble Beam, and then this time they do bait me with the Bubble Beam, so very well played there. And because my attack's lowered, this Power Whip's not going to KO, and that kind of works to my favor actually, because I'm able to farm it down with Bullet Seeds, and I do take some extra damage, but now I have a Power Whip to attack that Infernape with. It does okay damage since Infernape's so frail. Now they have loaded energy, and then I'm going for a Bubble Beam right away. They make another quick switch to Ampharos, so I'm able to lower its attack, and then in the switch animation go to Blaziken, which ends up being key there. Now I just go for the Blaze Kick to burn a shield since they have two, and then I have to shield up in Blaziken here because it's my only way to win. I can't beat Ampharos with Mantine. And because of that Bubble Beam, I'm able to survive with Thunder Punch, luckily, and then counter it down, have some energy to burn the last shield with another Blaze Kick here, and then finish it off with Mantine. And because I was able to switch out so quickly earlier, didn't take any double effective damage from the Volt Switch, and have plenty of health to take that Blast Burn, and then finish it off with a Bubble Beam. For the second battle, again, I'll use the same team just with a different lead, and I'm hoping it'll be the Ampharos, keep it away from the Mantine, but it's actually Wishcash. Did not expect that, so after one counter, I switched to Mantine, a little risky in case they had the Ampharos. Figure maybe I could draw it out, I guess, and beat it with the Blaziken. Instead, they go to their Mantine, and I just go for the Bubble Beam right away since I had a little bit of energy lead, and that way I'll lower its attack right away, and then I don't shield the Bubble Beam either. Now I'll go for the Aerial Ace to at least do some damage here. And it's going to be a slow, drawn-out battle, but I had that energy lead. So now I blocked the Ice Beam because I remember I had that from the first battle, so kind of important there. Then I'm just going to get another Aerial Ace and then try and farm down with Wing Attack. I do have to take another charge move here. I'm not going to use my second shield since they haven't used the first one yet, but now I have plenty of energy for what comes in next. And it's the Wishcash, and they actually win CMP, but I know it's only a Mud Bomb that can survive as a flying type. And then I'll get that Bubble Beam in to lower its attack, and actually get the first shield there. And they switch out, probably because they know they'd have to use another charge move, and the Breloom just gets destroyed by Mantine. So Mantine really put in work here. Now they have a lot of energy, so I'm not going to come in with Ferrothorn right away. Go with Blaziken to dump some of this energy on, and then go to Ferrothorn. Now, it's always a tough call with the Wishcast, whether it's shield baiting or not, but because I'm part steel, I do survive a blizzard, thankfully, and then I'm just going to go for the Power Whip. I know they still have a shield, so I probably could just farm down with Bullet Seed, but be able to get to another one before the next blizzard, and I have the shield in hand anyway. So, take that round, GG. I'm skipping the third battle like round one just to save time. And next opponent, Aerial Ace, has been a bit of a nemesis for me. Has a bit of an interesting team here without a Mantine or Blaziken. Not quite sure how to navigate it. I just stick with the core three of Ferrothorn, Blaziken, and Mantine. They cover each other pretty well, and if my opponent leads with Cherrim or Escavalier, those back two can cover those. And Galvantula with Volt Switch. So I'm not going to win this in the one shield. Get that Power Whip right away, and if they shield, I'll match them. If not, I'll let this charge move go. And I'm almost at another Power Whip already, and it's Bug Buzz, so it does hit me pretty hard with neutral damage. But like I said, I have the Power Whip ready and get that first shield, and now I'll block this next charge move because either way it'll finish me off, of course. Now I'm right at another Power Whip again, so I can win this if they don't commit both shields, but they do. So I switch out. I didn't want them to farm me down with Volt Switch, but they did farm enough energy already for another charge move. So I do have to use my second shield after all. And having Blaziken without shields is very scary, but luckily I'm able to get to a charge move right away to at least chip away at this Swampert. The counter damage added up, and the Hydro Cannon will take me out, of course. Now, I decided to come in with Ferrothorn because the Bullet Seeds will just do a lot of damage because it's double effective, and then they have to use their energy to finish me off. And now I'm able to farm down, or almost able to farm down. They do get a Hydro Cannon. It's not very effective, at least. And then I'll have plenty of energy for whatever's in the back. And I guess I was just determined to use a Bubble Beam to lower attack right away, no matter what, because it's Cherrim, so that's not really the best call. But if I was worried about Solar Beam, then I void the Sack Swap, luckily. Almost perfect timing by them. And then now I can come back, use another Bubble Beam, because I was really worried about that Solar Beam, I guess. But the Aerial Ace is enough to finish it off, so it didn't really matter there, luckily. I stick with the same team with a different lead again. I'm anticipating a Cherrim or a Escavalier against my Ferrothorn from last time, but they make a great call with the Kingdra. And like I said, when it's rock, paper, scissors meta, winning the lead and switch advantage is so important. I do have the energy advantage at least against the Cherrim and this counter swap, but the weather balls would just destroy Ferrothorn. So I'm able to get a shield there at least. We're even, and now I'd let this one go through and it almost KOs me. I have the Iron Head ready, or Flash Cannon, excuse me, and that does a good amount of damage, but they're able to get one more Weather Ball off. It's so spammy. I was right there, another charge move too, unfortunately. And I come back with Blaziken, finish off, which is a counter, get a little bit of energy head start against the Kingdra, and then before I can get to the Stone Edge, I take an Octazooka. That's enough to KO me, but it's super effective. And then they have Galvantula in the back, so total GG's here. That switch advantage was huge. Whenever you get electric type against Mantine, it's game over. So going to the last battle, I decided to replace the Ferrothorn with Wormadam. Not entirely sure why in hindsight. Still has the same bad matchup against Cherrim, which is what my opponent leads with. Another great call. It's a little better matchup, but I still end up switching to Blaziken and get trapped against the Kingdra. Try and go for the surprise Stone Edge. Don't think I've shown it yet, but he smartly shields that and then farms me down with Dragon Breath. And I want to avoid the Cherrim, so I come back with the Wormadam and have to eat a charge move here. And it's Octazooka, and it lowers my defense, my attack. Maybe I should have swapped out at this point, but instead another Octazooka comes through, and I end up having to use my energy here. Probably could have just gone with Iron Head with it being so low. Instead, he'll come back with the Galvantula, and that's GG because I have Mantine in the back. So I get stuck in the same situation as last time. Maybe should have led with Mantine, but very well played by my opponent there. Then my next opponent's going to have a Shiftry and Sunny Castform. That was the nice thing about Forest Cup is that there were a lot of diverse Pokemon you can choose from. Just the rock, paper, scissors matchups just weren't that great in my opinion. But I go with the Blaziken lead and then have Galvantula for the first time, I think. But my opponent goes with the Swampert lead, which is terrible for me. And I make a mistake here going with my Mantine. It's the only thing that can beat it. So when they switch out, I'm going to be in bad position here, especially since Mantine loses to Electric type so badly. I was saving up my energy in case they were going to do the switch right away, but finally used the Bubble Beam, and then they switch. Again, very nicely played by my opponent. I do have another Bubble Beam ready. That'll lower its attack, but the Volt Switches are still going to pick me apart. Not quite able to get to another Bubble Beam. And I figure the Blaziken has a little bit better matchup against Swampert, so I'll go with the Galvantula here. And I do resist all its charge moves at least. So even the Focus Blast that hits hard is resisted, and I survive. Overcharge a little bit, and then get off the Discharge. That's enough to finish it off. And have a little bit of energy left, so I'm able to get to one more Discharge against this Castform before the Embers finish me off. And I do have the shield advantage here, so I think maybe I have a chance. I'm going to block this Weather Ball even though I resist it. Oh, actually I don't block that one. See how much it does. Overcharge a little bit, and the counter damage is adding up. Probably could have just gotten Blaze Kick at this point. Then after burning their last shield, they come back with a Swampert with loaded energy. So I have to use my last shield, try and counter it down, but end up having to use my energy here. And then they still have the Castform and with loaded energy. So I use my last shield, and I think I can survive these Embers, but just before I can get to another Blaze Kick, I die. If only I hadn't used the Stone Edge earlier, would have had that energy. But now I come with two Swampert counters, and they were anticipating the Ferrothorn, so it was the Castform, and that's good for me. And then again, I'm going to overcharge a bit, anticipating a switch, and then finally use my Bubble Beam. It's super effective, and then they switch, and I go for the Bubble Beam, and then going to switch out during the animation. Could have done it another way, but that works out because now they have lower attack. So I'm going to go with the Power Whip and get their first shield. Now, because I lower the attack, I'm thinking I can survive a Focus Blast, but it still nearly takes me out. So not great by me. And then I'll come in with the Blaziken, of course, try and just counter it down. I'm going to have to use my first shield, so we're even there. And then I'll have plenty of energy for what's in the back. I still have Mantine with almost all of its health, I believe. And he comes back with the Castform with the load energy, and I don't know why I really shielded this because I resist Weather Ball. And then, especially when they come with the Swampert, I should have just switched out to Mantine right away. Instead of using all my energy here, I thought the Blaze Kick would do more, even though it's resisted, because Swampert is a little bit frail, and then I thought I could counter it down instead of switching out and absorbing this Hydro Cannon. Now I'm going to try and farm down with wing attacks, but they're just able to get another charge move off. And then they're even going to get CMP, so I can't get this Bubble Beam that would have reduced the damage of this Weather Ball. And then they still have a shield still, so the damage for Bubble Beam doesn't matter, but I could have lowered their attack and then been able to get to one more charge move. Instead I lose. I'm going to show the third this time just because I could have won this round. I know I could have. And I get another good lead with Mantine against Swampert. Go for the Bubble Beam right away this time before a Sludge Wave comes in. And then I'm going to take whatever they throw at me. And Sludge Wave doesn't, especially since I had the Bubble Beam, lower their attack already. And then this time I go for the Aerial Ace to try and do a little more damage. And we're just both going shieldless for now. I can survive another Sludge Wave and have some energy for what comes in next. And I have to go for it right away in case it was the Ampharos, which it was. And then the Bubble Beam at least lowers the attack and does a little bit of damage. And then now I finally brought Cherrim as my electric counter because I'll resist the electric attacks as a grass type, even though it basically acts as a fire type with these Weather Balls. And I'll get the first shield, and then when they switch out, I go right to Blaziken because I don't want to take those Embers. And then I can take a Weather Ball. Freaking should have shielded that last time. And then finally I go for the Stone Edge and see if this will KO, but get the last shield. I'm not sure I ever landed a Stone Edge that really altered the outcome in this tournament. Then finally I counter it down, and then we'll go with the Blaze Kick against the Ampharos. And before I can get another one, they finish me off. I save my shield because I have such low health, and then Cherrim will finish it off. GG's. Very close matches each time. Really kicking myself for not winning here. And for the last round, my opponent has a Kingdra and Jumpluff that have me a little bit worried, so I'm going to use both my steel types. Wormadam's pretty safe lead, and then Ferrothorn with Mantine in the back. There aren't any hard counters to Wormadam on their team, but if it's Swampert, I have two things that can beat it, and it's Galvantula. So pretty close matchup. I should be able to win in even shield scenarios, and I'm going to block the first move because of that, and then try and bait them with the Iron Head and see if they match my shields, what they do. And then I get a little greedy here thinking they're so low, I can just farm it down with Confusion and have plenty of energy for what comes in next. I take the discharge, but instead of using my Iron Head to finish it off, I lose with all that energy wasted, and then I have to shield the charge move coming in and then finish it off with just a wing attack. Get a little bit of an energy head start for what's in the back. And they bring in Ferrothorn, which is a tough matchup. I could win it if baiting properly, but no one ever shields the Bubble Beam pretty much, as you can see there. But I did want to do that to at least lower their attack since I'm shieldless here. And then before I get this Aerial Ace off, thinking about switching, and finally I do, right when they switch to their Kingdra actually. And they do have the shield advantage here, so I have to get these Power Whips off as soon as possible. I'm going to resist all of their moves at least, but they're still going to hurt because Kingdra does have a high attack, and the Outrage takes me pretty low. And after overcharging a little bit, I finally used another Power Whip, see if we can finish it off. It's not quite enough, so I have to use another one, using up all my energy on this Kingdra. And then they'll have the Ferrothorn with a decent amount of health left, but because I'm close to another Power Whip, they end up having to use up all their energy here. And then I'm going to go with Mantine trying to get to the Aerial Ace. They're barely able to beat me to it, but I'm actually able to survive barely and able to get my own charge move off. And the Aerial Ace, even though it's a terrible move, does finish it off. Phew. Then I bring in Blaziken to deal with their Ferrothorn, and then switch to mine as a lead in case they bring in Swampert, which they do. So obviously a great lead for me. Then I can come in with Blaziken, and like I've been saying, so rock, paper, scissors. Once you win the lead, you're in great shape. So I can just counter it all the way down. Well, actually I use Blaze Kick at the end here after overcharging just enough Didn't want to have to use another shield or use a shield. And then I'll have the Blaze Kick here for the Swampert, get a little chip damage in, and it did its job taking care of the Ferrothorn, and then brought the Swampert all the way to the yellow there. They do have a lot of loaded energy, but with Ferrothorn coming in, this is fine. Don't have to block a Hydro Cannon. That's how thick Ferrothorn is, plus the grass resistance. And then I'm just going to bullet seed it down to make them switch out, so I can use Flash Cannon here against their Jump Bluff, get their first shield, and this is still a fine matchup for me. The Aerial Ace is just neutral and terrible move, like I said, and then get another Flash Cannon off. And then with their shields down, I come in with Wormadam, and once again, Aerial Ace is neutral. I do shield at that time just because I had 2 to spare. And pretty much it's over here. Aerial Ace doesn't do much. They do make a great switch with the Swampert, the Sack Swap for the Bug Buzz, and it makes it a little more interesting, but with them shieldless, I can just go straight for another Bug Buzz, and it's going to be neutral and hit hard, though. So I ended up 3-2, not super satisfied with my performance. Then my next Forest Cup was hosted by Raid 44, which means cash prizes that draw a ton of players. Went 7 rounds, and since all tournaments are remote due to the coronavirus, disputes take forever. Ended up being like 4.5 or 5 hours. I started 3-1, but was so worn down by hour 4, I lost my last 3. Was just going to do one more after that, but ended up missing it due to a family thing, so Force Cup was definitely my worst month of the season. Thanks for watching though, and I should have a Sorcerer's Cup video hopefully soon.